My name's Owen Morgan. I don't know if you guys know who I am. I run the channel Telltale, but I'm here to explain to you in very specific terms exactly how to get an abortion and how to do it safely if you're in an illegal state. If you're coming across this video, I'm going to be talking about all of the important stuff in the very beginning, but I hope you guys end up sticking around until the end because there's more. There are different ways of preventing pregnancy. First, there's the Plan B pill. This will not cause an abortion. It's just regular birth control. Second, there's something I call the Plan C pill. It's possible to use these up to 10 to 12 weeks. It depends on your state. Past 12 weeks, it's likely going to involve a surgical procedure. So the sooner you get this done, the better. So the goal is to get the Plan C pills because I assume you're already past 3 days. In most states, you can just go to a doctor and have him prescribe it to you. Super straightforward, not a big deal. If that's an option, then you should do that instead of going about the method that I'm about to explain. If that isn't an option for you, stick around and I'll tell you how to deal with the European doctors. One more note on getting them from doctors in the US. A lot of abortion clinics are shutting down right now, and there are a ton of fake clinics set up. A lot of them set up right next to the actual clinics. So you need to make sure you're contacting a real one. The fake ones are predatory and will do everything they can to make your life miserable long term. To find a real one, you can check Planned Parenthood's website, plannedparenthood.org, which is in the description, by the way, and enter your zip code. You can see me doing it on screen here. Like I said, the fake ones are right next to the real ones, so be cautious. Find the phone number of the real one on the Planned Parenthood website, which is in the description. Call them, set up an appointment, and verify that the office you enter has your name and appointment on schedule when you arrive. So if it's been 3 days, take Plan B. If it's been 3 days to 10 weeks and you're in a legal state, find a doctor near you through the Planned Parenthood website in the description. If you're not in a legal state, it's currently best to go out of state for this. But if you don't feel comfortable with it, or if you want to have the pills on hand just in case, we'll talk about the exact process of consulting with European doctors. I was looking into this myself out of curiosity. I wanted to find some way to get the pills. Not that I need them, but just in case I do, I wanted to have them on hand. I live in New York City, so I'm perfectly free to just go to a doctor and get them if I wanted. If I became pregnant, I guess I could, but like I said, I wanted to go through the process of getting the pills myself because I want to make sure that others are able to. I want to make sure it's possible for others to do, and the way that I'm doing this is safe. So I have ordered the pills, and the way that I found this was by going to the New York Times website. Medication abortions are increasing, what they are, and where women can get them. The New York Times article specifically mentions aid access. So if you go to this website, which again will be in the description, aidaccess.org, click online consult for abortion pills by mail, and then you go through this process here. Depending on where you live, we can offer you different service options. It lists a number of states. Of course, this is intended for the United States based on the situation. Click this button if you agree to continue with the consultation. Do you have an unwanted pregnancy? I hit no, but I would like to get the medication in case of a future unwanted pregnancy. I understand using these medications without a confirmed pregnancy is unnecessary, and I'd still like to continue with my request for help. Do you have any of the following illnesses? I don't have an allergy. Do you have any health conditions? No. Do you take any regular prescription medications? Do you have any allergies? Have you ever had any operations? No. Most of this stuff isn't disqualifying, by the way, unless you have an allergy to the medicine specifically. Enter your age. Next. Times you've been pregnant, how many children you have, and your reason for requesting treatment. Possible future restrictions on abortion where I live. Would you be interested in sharing your story with a journalist? Yes or no, it's up to you. Then you fill out your information, first name, last name, birth date, city, so on and so forth. You have to fill this out accurately. You must, because the next step is for them to email you requesting a picture of your driver's license. You need to send in some form of ID that verifies your name and birthday. After you fill this out, they send you an email. This is what the email looks like. I've already done this process and they already sent me the email. They just thank you for filling out the online consultation and for your trust, so on and so forth. And they explain to me that since I'm in New York, I can get the medicine anyways. I don't need to go through them. But I wanted to go through the process to figure out how it works anyways. So anyways, all I had to do is reply to that email with a picture of my ID. As you can see, I did, and they will send me the pills in the next 3 to 4 weeks. Now, here's why that timing is important. The process that I just went through, Aid Access, works with European doctors to consult with people in America and then orders the pills from an Indian pharmacy to be shipped through USPS to American people, which is not illegal. It is extra legal right now. It's stepping outside of legal jurisdictions as of the time this video is being filmed. Let me explain the timeline for anybody who doesn't know how an abortion works, or how pregnancy works, or how the female reproductive system works in general, okay? Pregnancy is counted from the date of your last period, okay? So say you're just going about your day and you realize that it's been 5 weeks since your last period. That means you're 1 week late on your period, but 5 weeks pregnant. Suddenly, you have to find out how to get an abortion within the next few days, or it'll be too late if you're in Texas. A lot of people don't have the time to set up an appointment in that time frame. That's why having the pills around, just having them around, could be useful, and why, in my opinion, even if you're in a legal state, you should try to get the pills, just to have at your house. If you're in an illegal state, you should certainly go through this process right now and get them. No joke. If you have your missed period, if you're like a week late on your period, that means you're 5 weeks pregnant. Unfortunately, these pills take up to 3 to 4 weeks to ship sometimes, and that means you could be as much as 9 weeks pregnant by the time the pills even arrive. It's best to have the pills before you need them. If you slept with somebody in the past 2 to 3 days and you're worried about pregnancy, you should use Plan B contraceptives. Plan B is not an abortion. It is not an abortion in any way, shape, or form. It is simply a high dose of regular birth control pills. It will prevent an egg from implanting, basically. If you're too ashamed to get an abortion or something, please just take Plan B. There is nothing morally or ethically wrong with this. And I really don't know why people demonize it like they do. So you have 3 days to use the Plan B pills. You technically have 10 weeks to use the abortion pills, the Plan C pills, as I call them. So you have 10 weeks to use those legally. And it takes a total of 3 to 4 weeks to ship them from overseas. So if you start this process at 5 weeks, you will get the pills hopefully by week 9. You're cutting it pretty close. It's best to get them ahead of time. Regarding cybersecurity, I think I'm going to be linking a document below. It links to my website. You'll see it down there. And it will talk about all of the cybersecurity stuff that you need to know, most of which is not necessary right now, especially because abortion is not technically illegal yet. But in the near future in the United States, it very well could be. If it becomes illegal in your state, depending on how seriously you want to take this, there's everything in there. You can be protected if you read the document about cybersecurity. It goes through everything from using a VPN to using a virtual machine to erasing your hard drive completely. Everything will be in there. Just take a look if you're worried about this. I think I've covered everything I need to cover. You guys know how to get the pills from overseas. If you're in a legal state, in my opinion, you should try to get the pills anyways, no matter what. By the by, the price on these pills is about $150, I believe, $120 to $150 from this company that I showed on here. If you don't have the money for that, I believe they have like special options for low-income people and things like that. Just go to the website and look. Just find out. It's best if you have the pills on hand in case you need them, but keep them hidden because at some point this may become very, very illegal. I don't know. Time will tell. Regarding the morality of getting an abortion, I honestly don't care about the morality of it. My main concern is people's health and well-being. And you can't have good health and well-being and a healthy society in general without having abortion. available. Even if you're talking about people who have been terribly abused by family members, even if you're talking about ectopic pregnancies, you need to have this procedure available if you want to have a healthy society. People are going to die as a result of the decisions that are about to release from the Supreme Court in the United States. But, if you do want me to make an argument in favor of the morality of abortion, even though the government shouldn't be involved in dictating morality, they should only be involved in protecting our rights. Even though I don't care about the morality of it, you have to make this available if you want a healthy society. Even though those things exist, even though that's the case, I'm still going to make an argument in favor of the morality of abortion. I stole this from somebody, this analogy. Let's say you're driving along in a car, you get in this terrible car accident. You wake up in the hospital, the person that you hit is bound to you by handcuffs, and they are taking your blood out of your body and feeding it into that person because they needed a blood transfusion and you were available. Is it legal for them to force you to give up your blood at gunpoint? Of course it's not. Of course that's not legal. That would be a complete violation of bodily autonomy. You are allowed to stand up and walk out of a hospital if you want, and nobody can chain you to a bed and force you to give up your blood. It's exactly what's happening when a fetus implants in a mother. The mother has the choice to give up her blood or not. Nobody can be forced to give up their body, their blood, their nutrients, their anything, to allow somebody else to survive. Now, you can talk about whether or not it's right, whether or not they should give up their blood. Maybe you should help this other driver that got in this car accident by giving up your blood. Sure, maybe you should, but bodily autonomy comes before all else. You have to be able to make the choice for yourself if you want to help this person or not. So there's my argument in favor of abortion. If that one doesn't grab you, let me give you this one. The brain of a fly is 100,000 cells. A blastocyst, the early stages of a pregnancy. Can you guess how many cells that is? Maybe 1 million, maybe 500,000, maybe 100,000. Is it 10,000? 1,000? No. 150. 150 cells when it starts out. There's truly no difference between you scratching your nose like this and getting an abortion in the early weeks. No difference. There is no reason to forbid people or to be squeamish about it or worried that you're doing something immoral. There's no reason for it. 150 cells. And you know what else this is going to do? This decision to outlaw abortion? This is going to prevent people from getting ectopic pregnancy terminations, as I mentioned earlier, which is very likely a death sentence, by the way. No way of surviving that for the mother or for the baby, pretty much. This is also going to prevent in vitro fertilization. People who really, really want a baby won't be able to have one now because IVF will be banned. It's also completely put a stop to stem cell research, in addition to all that. To do stem cell research, you have to take an egg and a sperm and bring them together, let them stew in a petri dish for 3 days, basically, and suddenly you have a whole bunch of stem cells, like 150 or 300 or something like that. It is literally no different than scratching your nose. I feel like in the United States, we have been so incredibly propagandized by the pro-life movement that the outside world looks at us in awe at the fact that I even have to make these arguments. The outside world looks at us in awe at that. The point is, if you need to get an abortion, do it. There is nothing wrong with it. At a certain point, in my opinion, 12 weeks, you should take the decision a lot more seriously. 14 to 15 weeks, in my opinion, shouldn't be done unless it's under very special, unique circumstances. 20 weeks, nobody would do that anyways, unless it was like a risk to the mother's health. It just does not happen unless there's a serious problem. Because at that point, it's a surgery that needs to take place. It's not just taking pills and moving on with your life. So don't let the United States propagandize you. Don't let the pro-lifers propagandize you into thinking that this is anything more than scratching your nose. It really is not. It really isn't. If anybody has anything to add to this video, then please tack it on the end and upload it to your own channel. Spread this around as much as you possibly can, because I really desperately want this information to be available to people. If you do come across this video, I'm asking everybody here to spread the links around. In fact, copy this video and upload it to your channel or your forums or your whatever. I'm not going to come after anybody for copyright on this video or anything. Just spread it out to as many people as you possibly can.